Welcome to The Late Show, everybody. I'm your host, Stephen Colbert. If you've been watching the news, you know the world continues to talk about the eccentric, power-mad, cult-like leader who has launched a surprise bid to retake what we thought he had abandoned long ago because Tom Brady has changed his mind on retirement and will return to the Buccaneers to play a 23rd season. False start to retirement. Unnecessary handsomeness. Penalty is drink a full-calorie beer. Of course, my dear friend Tom Brady is not just returning for the love of the game, he's also set to make $25 million next season, which is, coincidentally, what you'd have to pay me to go to Tampa. It's a lovely place. It's lovely. I don't even know where that joke comes from.
Good people in town.
This is great news for the NFL, but bad news for the guy who bought Tom Brady's last touchdown football for over $500,000 just hours before Brady announced his comeback. So it just lost its value immediately. But that guy should have known. When it comes to balls, Brady's always been big on deflation. What's that joke mean? What does that? Tom's return to professional, I call him Tom. Tom's return to professional men's football raises one big question for fans like myself. What, I ask you, is going to happen to 80 for Brady, Tom's recently announced football-themed road trip comedy starring Jane Fonda, Rita Moreno, Sally Field, and Lily Tomlin? Tom better not pull the plug on this, otherwise Jane and Lily are going to introduce him to their pals, Grace and Frankie. I guess might be the only solution is to recast the movie and call it Honk If You're Gronk. Of course, the other big story continues to be Russia's war crimes in Ukraine. The Russians expected to come in and just roll over the Ukrainians in 48 to 72 hours. Easy peasy, World War III's. But the Ukrainians have put up one heck of a fight, and now we're on day 19 of the war, and things are going niet bueno for Putin. Russia has gained only limited territory while suffering substantial losses in both personnel and equipment, and evidence is mounting that the invasion has not gone to plan. Sure, unless the plan was called Operation Make the World Hate Us, Bye Bye Big Mac. The Russians, they were so confident of victory that, according to one report, instead of extra ammo and rations, Russian soldiers were evidently carrying dress uniforms for their victory parade in Kyiv. Kinda jumping the gun there, guys. It's like scheduling your first Tinder date at the altar. Oh, you're a Sagittarius? So am I. Do you take me in sickness and in health? Now, Russian troops are running out of supplies, and they've grown desperate. Many have resorted to breaking into supermarkets and shops and raiding homes in search of food and valuables as their own supply lines have failed. Reminder, they're just 90 miles from their home bases. That's like driving from New York to Philly and turning cannibal at Trenton. Well, kids, we left the granola bars back home, so who's first on the menu? Timmy, you look well marbled. They simply did not bring enough food, as you can see in this video posted to social media, which apparently shows an abandoned Russian field kitchen truck full of rations that are entirely onions and turnips, maybe some potatoes, in the back, more onions and turnips, jars of pickles, and shards of delicious broken glass. Of course, Russians are used to this kind of food. In fact, that's actually their most popular ice cream truck, Mr. Onion. Round and round the onion truck, a big bag full of onions. Take a bite and never smile. Oops, is potato. In his, there you go. Is potato.
Yeah.
Is potato. Sweeping the country. Got to dance and everything. In his desperation, Putin has turned to one of the few friends he has left because, according to U.S. intelligence, Russia is seeking military equipment and aid from China. Don't do it, China. What do we have to do to get you on the side of decency? We made 6 Transformer movies just for you. 2 are in 3D, I think. All of which I love, by the way, because they are from Paramount. Paramount, a mountain of things I am contractually obligated to enjoy. They're always watching. With his invasion going poorly, Putin has only one man to blame. Anyone but him. Case in point, we just learned that Russian spy chiefs have been placed under house arrest. That's right, they're stuck at home with nothing to do except watch the popular Russian reality show, Love is Blindfolded and Thrown into a Van. Putin has also reportedly fired generals over his invasion losses. Of course he fired them. They allowed Ukrainians to capture their greatest weapon, truck full of onions. Some intelligence analysts believe Putin's increasingly erratic behavior could be caused by roid rage. Oh, we got a juice in Putin. Finally explains why he hit 68 home runs for the Cardinals last year. Because their war is going embarrassingly poorly, the desperate Russians are going full monstrous, and it could get worse. It may go so far as to use chemical weapons. And how do we know Russia's considering chemical weapons? National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan explains.
They're right now accusing the United States and the Ukrainians of potentially using chemical or biological weapons, which is a tell. It's a tell that they themselves may be preparing to do so and then trying to pin the blame on someone else. That's a classic page out of the Russian playbook.
And on that page, it just says, "He who smelt it, dealt it." And, sure, wisdom. In Russian, it doesn't rhyme. It doesn't rhyme in Russian. The lies keep coming because Russia is now claiming the U.S. trained birds to deliver Ukrainian bioweapons. The Kremlin has even released this footage of the secret operation. And things might have just gotten worse for the dictator because you know how the U.S. and its allies have been confiscating oligarchs' big boats? Well, right now, they're targeting a $700 million super yacht, which they believe could belong to Vladimir Putin. Authorities were tipped off when the yacht was seen riding a horse. The U.S. and its allies are also continuing to turn up the economic pressure. On Friday, President Biden announced that the U.S. will ban imports of seafood, vodka, and diamonds. That is terrible news for our nation's sugar daddies. Trina, I know your profile said you like cold martinis, shrimp towers, and sparkling tennis bracelets, but how about a Bud Light Lime, a meatball sub, and this scrunchie I found on the bus? Where are you going? You said you loved me. Brenda already left her, took the kids. Yo mayor. This is a major move because in 2021, the U.S. imported 48,867 metric tons of seafood from Russia. Holy lack of mackerel. This explains why Red Lobster has made some changes to Lobster Fest. God, you need a big pot of boiling water. You need a very big pot of boiling water. In the face of monstrous brutality by Russia to break their spirit, the Ukrainian people continue to resist and maintain their humanity. Case in point, Ukraine just unveiled a new postage stamp based off the Russian warship Go Yourself incident. A stamp? They have a stamp that says that? Ukraine just went postal. Now, for my younger viewers out there, a stamp is like a little receipt that goes on a letter. A letter is like a physical email that you type with a pen, which is like a vape stick full of ink. But do not smoke ink. And I'm being told that's already a TikTok challenge. So let's take a look at this new stamp. Okay. That is graphic, and it also counts as their new national bird stamp. Of course, we'll have to blur that for the broadcast. We haven't had to blur a postage stamp since the post office issued that stamp of George Washington mooning the British. The Ukrainian Postal Service announced the stamp design after holding a public vote on social media. Ukrainians are taking the time to vote on a stamp design in the middle of a war. That is an unbelievable, unstoppable sense of civic duty. In light of tanks coming down the street, please remember that alternate side parking is suspended. We got a great show for you tonight. My guest is Sandra Bullock.